Hey, it's me. I am back to vlogging, finally, after quite a while. And I've got my new background for now. I'm still trying to figure it all out because the positioning and the lighting in my room is a little awkward. And don't mind this guy in the background, he's my latest addition. So I'm sure we've all been in a school play or like some sort of production or something at least once in our lives. Whether it was, you went to church and you had to do the nativity, or you had to do something for acting class or something like that. Everybody's done it. And nobody's gotten it right the first time around. I mean, I'm about to tell you my experience. I guess this is almost kind of just like a little story time to when I've done performances or plays and stuff like that, and things didn't quite go well, to say the least. So, without further ado, let's get started in telling my deepest, darkest secrets to people on the internet. So my first embarrassing experience was when I was very young. And if you've ever gone to like a big church or something, you know every church does a nativity around Christmas, and they have all the kids from like the little Bible school things, and they have them starring and all that jazz. And I was in it, and I got the role of an angel in the background, and I just stood there while my friend, who was older than me, got to say all the lines and do all of that and speak to Joseph and Mary and all that. So I was fine with it. I didn't care. At least I thought I didn't. Until the night of it, I was getting ready. I had my little angel costume on. It barely fit me. It was kind of scratchy. And I'm getting ready to go, and I was going over, what I was supposed to do with my sister and stuff. And then all of a sudden I just kind of stopped, and like something clicked in my head, and I realized like I was just gonna stand off to the side and it wasn't important. And I just started bawling out of nowhere. Ran out of the room, screaming and crying. My sister's like, "What's the matter?" I'm like, "Why can't I do lines?" And she just looks at me, she's like, "Because you can't read yet." I'm like, "Oh, okay." I was completely fine after that. This is when I was like 6 and 5, so I was a late learner. Oh, there's a glare on my glasses. I apologize in advance, because that's gonna be bugging. The next experience I had was a little worse than that. This took place actually in front of people. This wasn't a little meltdown beforehand or anything like that. And this was after, I learned how to read, and I learned how to tie my shoes and everything. I was, I think, almost in middle school. I was maybe 12 or 11, maybe even 13. I hope I wasn't 13, gosh. But this was another church event, and my Sunday school teacher was a music teacher. So she decided, hey, let's have all the girls in the class sing a song for this, Christmas or something like that. We're gonna sing a song in front of the congregation. So I was like, okay, yeah, I totally want to do that. And all these other girls were like, no, I don't want to go up on stage. And I was like, oh, you're wimps, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna be just fine, I'm gonna do so well. I go up there, and we get up there. The second this piano starts playing and I notice people are staring, I cry. Not just like, a couple tears, I kind of well up, I'm like, ah. No, I like, like tears are rolling down my face, and I can't speak because I'm sobbing in front of the whole church. And so meanwhile, my teacher's sitting there playing the piano, and the girl next to me singing just fine. And I'm sitting there like, Jesus is the star. And needless to say, I never sang in front of people in that church ever again. Until like years later, and I took voice lessons, and I learned to get over it. But yeah, that one was very interesting, and I pray that never happens again. The next one wasn't necessarily that embarrassing. It was just kind of funny, I suppose. So I was in another play. Actually, it was my first play, technically, where I actually had a speaking part and stuff. Well, more than just a speaking part. When they had us audition, it was for the acting class. So we just kind of sat there and we read out through like the script, and then we wrote on our script who we wanted to be, and then my teacher would decide who she wanted. And we were doing Twelfth Night, Shakespeare, all that fancy stuff. I was 13 or so at the time, so I didn't quite understand half of it. And so I decided, oh hey, I'm gonna do this princess character because she seems a bit sassy. She seems like she'd be fun to do. So I write her name down. I wrote the wrong name. I wrote the name of the main character, who's the star of the whole thing, has the most lines, and has a big monologue. I got the part. I was up against Miss Popularity, this girl I knew. She was nice, but she was very popular, social butterfly, very outgoing, and she wanted that part. I beat her out for it. This little nerdy 13-year-old homeschooler beat out Miss Popularity for the main role, and I was like, oh yeah, I did so good. And then came the time to actually do the play. When I get nervous, I speak very quickly. So half the time, people couldn't understand a word I was saying. As you can tell right now, I talk a bit quick. I have a tendency to do that. And, it wasn't terrible, but this was for like a community theater. So we didn't really have a whole lot of options or casting choices. So if you've ever seen anything about Twelfth Night or like the play, a movie, something like that, you will know that my character, Viola, the main character, has a twin brother. Identical twin brother. So they cast that, and the guy they casted as my twin was like 6 foot something, super tan, and had like dirty blonde hair, looks nothing like me. And he actually had to wear fake glasses and wear identical clothing to me in order to try and make us look somewhat alike. So if you think that's kind of weird, then you'll appreciate the person who's supposed to be my lover. My character fell in love with this duke or whatnot, and the guy that played him, another like 18-year-old, 6 foot something, huge, like not anywhere near my age. And so every time we walk off on stage, I literally have to hold his hand like this pretty much. And then as soon as we get off stage, I just be like, don't touch me. Because, I was young and I was like, boys are gross. You stink. And this last one is the most recent one, which only happened maybe a week ago. Because I auditioned for a play, another Shakespeare, and I actually did get a part. I'm excited. But I went to audition, and in order to audition, you had to have a Shakespeare comedy monologue memorized. And me being the idiot I am, I put it off, and I finally, like 5 days beforehand, decided I'm gonna memorize the Shakespeare monologue. I picked the easiest one I could find, which is All the World's a Stage, and I failed big time. I sat there and I read it over and say it over and over, and it got to the point where I could say it beginning to end, and it would be like I'd have to pause and think about it for a minute, but I was doing pretty good. My thing is, I wasn't focusing on my acting, I was focusing on memorizing. So when I got in there and I'm trying to act everything out, I froze. I completely forgot like half my monologue, and I sat there, I was like, luckily, the parts that I did remember, apparently I acted out pretty well because they still gave me a part anyways. So we'll see if I embarrass myself even further in that role. That's really all for today. I just kind of wanted to share some embarrassing stories with you guys. Maybe at some point I'll share my embarrassing internet stories. Oh gosh, maybe not those. But if you guys like this, let me know. I'll two of you that comment. Just let me know if you want to see more of these, if you want to see more video games, or if you want to see more going through old cringy stuff of mine other than just stories or sketchbooks. Anyway, that's all for today, and I'll see you guys next Tuesday. Bye!